Mihaly gave me a very, very good presentation, so thank you very much. So I'm based in Sweden. Oriflame is a Swedish company, but we are very global. We are a cosmetics company, or a beauty company, as we call it, Beauty by Sweden. And I am based in Stockholm, where we have our global support office. With me, I have my colleague Aga, who is Head of Employee Experience Europe, based in Warsaw. And our idea, basically, is to help people who are interested in beauty to build their own business with our products. So we are a social selling company, which means that we don't sell our beauty products via retail, but we do it through independent beauty entrepreneurs who can sell it either face-to-face or online through social media. So this is Oriflame in a nutshell. And then just to start my presentation, I actually was thinking, you know, employee experience. I can, of course, start talking to you about different models because, as Mihaly said, we started our work in 2017 with the employee experience. But I actually wanted to start it from the different angle. So what is experience? So how would you define experience? Don't be shy. Yeah?
It's a journey with emotion.
Good, emotion. Perfect. Anything else?
It's a start, it's an end, and in between it's happiness.
Nice. So, yeah, okay. Anything else? Anything else? Yeah? You just pop, like popcorn, with the popcorn style. Yep.
I mean, it's something you perceive with your senses. Something you can see, you can feel, you can live. It's all about what you sense in your environment.
So emotions and senses, I've heard. Anything else? Experience, what is it?
It's about your perception, how you perceive something that you pass through. It's also very connected with emotions and the senses, but it's around your perception.
Fantastic. So it's perception of the world, right? Okay, anything else? One more. It's very individual. That was a key word, I would say. You know, we in Oriflame, we usually describe experience with three key words for us. This is absolutely emotions, I agree with you. And then with emotions come perception. Emotions are individual, right? It is about the senses. We also describe experience as relationships. Because usually you get experience, strong experience from other people, from interactions. And this is how you build relationships, or it is how you end relationships. And it's very important, especially at the work environment. And we also describe experience as memories. Because memories, that is something that will stay in your basically mind forever. We even have a saying, you know, like the ambition for us, that when you are in your retirement age, sitting in this, you know, nice, I don't know, chalet at the lake in Holland, you know, on the canal, then you think back about your time in Oriflame, and then you have such warm memories that you instantly pick up the phone, you phone to your Oriflame friends, and you remember those times like the best ever times of your life that you spent together. So this is the experience, right? Which makes it very, very human connected. And I would like now for you to meet a couple of my colleagues. So this is Minal and Shefali. They are based in India. Minal is responsible for customer experience and employee experience in India. Shefali is responsible, she's a sales director. She's responsible for our independent brand partners who sell our cosmetics and distribute our cosmetics. We have 2 million brand partners in the world, and a lot of them are in Asia. So when the COVID wave 2 struck, it was very, very hard on India. You all remember, right? So they were, the worst COVID was in India during wave 2. Then children started dying because they didn't have any place in the hospitals because they were totally overbooked. So Minal and Shefali, they led the force in Oriflame without actually having a task, official task on it. They just saw the sufferings of the families, of the both employees and brand partners, and they started asking people around, first the employees and then our top brand partners, to help. So they organized a group who sat from their homes and phoned around all the possible hospitals in India, tried to find if there were empty beds for children and relatives, you know, and our employees and our brand partners. And thanks to that, we could help hundreds of people. And then they organized transportations as well to those hospitals because they were in different part of India. So I would say like this, you know, India was in lockdown for many, many, many weeks. We hardly had deliveries there. We hardly had any business there. But during this time, when people really rose together and helped each other, I mean, the bond between our brand partners, who are our sales representatives, and Oriflame employees, it grew so tight that now, you know, we are so much back on track, you know, working together. And I would say that there are nearly up to 0 conflicts there. Everybody is trying to solve, you know, how to grow together. So this is Thomas and Carol. Thomas is our head of Asia. Carol is employee experience head of China. And you know that recently China was again in the lockdowns, right? So they had a non-tolerance policy from the government, which means that nobody could come to work. But it was worse than that. I don't know, you probably read newspapers, right? It was a horrible famine in China. And we in Europe, we didn't really get a lot of news about it, but people didn't have food in the beginning of this year in China. So I had employees who were locked in their home, and then the food deliveries didn't come. And they were not allowed to come out because their doors were taped with a silver tape, you know, because, and then they needed to do the test, you know, through the windows to the special people in the clothes of, you know, Michelin people, sort of like, you know, like, yeah, and then some families lived on 6 cookies a week. And why was this? It was because the courier services were owned or are owned in China by the government, and because they have a non-tolerance policy and the virus was so spread, so even the couriers were sick. Because everybody was at home locked, they didn't have enough people to actually process rice, you know, process vegetable, pick up vegetables, to do the, you know, the pick up activities to portion food and send it out. So basically, the whole country were in paralysis, and people didn't have food. So, you know, I mean, what employee experience are you talking about during this time? So basically what Thomas, it was in between the lockdowns, he managed to get to China. He was 4 weeks in quarantine in Macau. Then he got into the hotel, and then the second, the second wave of lockdowns this year, there struck. So he was locked in the hotel there, you know, also without food. So I had an expat there without food, and I had a lot of employees there without food, and I had a lot of brand partners there without food. So then Thomas and Carol, they decided that they have to have people, you know. It doesn't matter what it costs, it doesn't matter, you know, what you do. So everybody contact everybody they knew. And then we sell wellness products as well. So it's like wellness shakes, you know. So we tried actually to organize the deliveries of the wellness shakes to our people, at least that they would have any nutrition. And we tried to actually, you know, through different contacts, try to organize food deliveries, anything we could. And we actually managed to support our both employees and some brand partners, you know, who were in the most horrible situation with the extra food deliveries that we negotiated through the contacts. And then again, you know, now China is back on track. They opened up. What do you think? What kind of relationships people have there, you know? I mean, we hear that they're so grateful, you know, for Oriflame being like a real human company, that now China will do absolutely everything, you know, to come back on track and to basically reinstall the sales. The funny thing was that before COVID, we had horrible conflicts between global office and China, because China grew with triple-digit growth in Oriflame, and they thought they knew the best, you know, and then they didn't want to follow the procedures. And it was always like us against them, them against us. There is nothing like this there. We saw our colleagues first time last month at the management meetup in Stockholm, and we hugged them, we cried together, you know, and now the cooperation is such level that you sort of understand each other without any words. And now I want you to meet 2 more people, and then their name is Nana and Katrin. Nana is Georgian, Katrin is Estonian. Nana is a managing director of Ukraine, and Katrin is a managing director of Russia. So we are very, very big in the CIS countries. And then when the war came, it was a big disaster for Oriflame, because in our Moscow office, we had 300 people, you know, and then we had even more, we had a factory in Moscow, and then also we have a lot of pick and pack centers there. And then Ukraine is our 3rd market, you know, when it comes to sales as well. So basically, you know, I mean, we could choose different paths here, you know, but Because, I mean, for us, what matters is how people are. The first thing naturally became the evacuation of all the Ukrainian leaders, right? And all the Ukrainian staff. So we had 144 people in Ukraine whom we actually helped to evacuate, but we also had people in Russia who didn't agree, you know, who didn't want to be there, who wanted to work for, you know, for completely, you know, other reasons. And they were totally scared as well, and some were paralyzed, they didn't understand their future. So we dealt with that as well. But we also dealt with other people who sell our products and some other employees who didn't understand why suddenly everybody hates them. And why suddenly the whole world doesn't invite them to the meetings, you know, and why suddenly they're not wanted, and why suddenly they're not invited as the speakers, and why suddenly they're excluded from all the global communities. And I must say that those two women, they are best friends. And only thanks to them, and thanks to how Oriflame cooperated, they are still best friends. And we went through that, and we evacuated all people who wanted to be evacuated from both countries. And we also now have quite a good setup, you know, when people respect each other, and we in Oriflame don't speak nationalities. So we in Oriflame still cooperate together, and we are fine. And everybody who wanted to get other jobs, they could get other jobs. So I would say that if you define the goal that we have now, is that during these crisis times, you know, I mean, we sort of like, we always have a culture. I mean, we are very fortunate that Oriflame from the beginning is the company with a very defined culture, thanks to our founders. And our value words are togetherness, spirit, and passion. But like many, many, many other companies, that were just the words on stage. But when we went through those times, you know, it was super clear for us that our EVP, that we usually call it, right, in HR, the value proposition for as an employer, it is something else. You know, it is not, you know, the dynamic environment. It is not our locations in the whole world. It is the relationship. It is like the lifestyle. It is like the real authentic thing that we offer to people who join us. And we actually use the Gartner definition of the human organization to describe ourselves. We basically strive to enable people to be their best, but also we care for them through the worst. And we don't really need more than that, because this is strong enough and this is real enough, and our people know that it's true because we checked it, you know, through the real life crisis. From the beginning, our mission is to help people to fulfill their dreams in Oriflame. And this is how our business model works, you know. So you can be a single mother in Africa, or you can be, you know, I don't know, a person who is without any possibilities in India, you know, to sort of from the poor environment. And then you can actually start building your own business by selling Oriflame products. And you don't need to invest your money in this. You don't need to buy the stock. You basically just collect the orders, and the transactions are taken up by the company. And you probably have heard about this system. It actually got the Nobel Prize many years ago. It's called microloaning. So it is when, you know, people do not need to loan themselves or to borrow money in order to become the business people. So that's how we operate. So from the beginning, our business model is to help people to fulfill their dreams through their passion to beauty. So we actually work in exactly the same way with our employees. So we are the company for people who act on their dreams. And as you said from the beginning, you know, the dreams and experiences are very, very individual. And of course, I cannot, you know, tell you what you want. But if you have drive, then you come to Oriflame, and through relationships with other people, through the opportunities we give you, you can fulfill your dreams. But for this, you need to be a person open for building relationships, open for being yourself. We have, of course, an Oriflame experience design, and I will not now go through every practicality of how we did it, but I must say that I went through it all. When we started employee experience, all those 7 years ago, I was so inspired by the Airbnb example. And actually, the whole thing started with listening to the Mark Levin podcast, you know, about the employee experience and how they combined communication, facility management, HR, and then how they actually, you know, built this model where people felt the belonging through the physical experience, through culture, and through technological experience, you know, how they find information, how their systems are working, and so on and so on. Then, of course, as many of you here, I try to implement the HR information system, yes, so Cornerstone on demand in my case. And of course, here the dream about employee experience crashes because you have different modules, and then in those modules, you need sort of to comply to the standard. But through the years, we actually found the way. And the way you can see here. So we have the basic needs, like in the Maslow pyramid of needs, and this is compensation and benefits. We have experiential level, which is individual experience. What's in it for me? How do I do career? And how do I feel when I work? Am I okay, or am I stressed all the time and overworked? And that was the purpose. Why do I want to go 150% extra? Why do I love being there? So what we actually do is we create moments as well. So we have our employee experience journey. I mean, this is a long presentation to say, but we tried first to comply with absolutely everything, make every single experience fantastic, but it doesn't work. You need to start from somewhere. Our big inspiration is the power of moments theory by Heath Brothers from Harvard. There is a book about this, where you actually can create the powerful moments through connection, giving people bigger jobs than they are, creating insights, stretching people, celebrating birthdays, marriage days, you know, making a great day special, and then also recognition, saying thank you to people. And we are also inspired by Robert De Niro, who in the movie Intern said that, you know, he wanted to come back to work because he wanted to feel the connection, the excitement, to be challenged and to be needed. And this is what we want our people to feel on an everyday basis. So now, we are organized as a department who is responsible for different parts of experience. So candidate experience, we have people analytics and rewards experience, we have community and learning experience, facility management. We also are responsible for all the conference, even for our brand partners, so for the sales part, and we are responsible for all non-product communication. And what did we learn there? Well, we basically learned that we can give tools, but this is the managers who are the frontliners. So how do we then support managers in order for them to create the human organization? And this is how we do it. So we make sure that we automatize absolutely everything in the flow. And here I talk about HR system, but here I also talk about the sales systems that we are trying to plug in and create the CRM flow, for example. Every single message that is sent manually is sent automatically so that people can actually focus on the conversation. Here I also speak about organizing communication and giving people a context. Why are we working here? What is happening in the company? So we have a communication schedule where people know when will they get information. And we organize communication events so that people know exactly how the flow works in Oriflame. And of course, we have the collaboration tools. This is also a very important part of the flow. So take out from here is don't only lock yourself on administrative tools in HR. Go into communication tools as well, see how people collaborate, and make sure that the people have the context and then they know what's going on. After it works and after you get the core right, then you create the value and meaning. And you create the value in meaning through your managers, because this is an individual experience. But what we do from the employee experience part is that we package the tools that we offer to our people. We package the programs, we package, you know, the learning opportunities, we package frameworks for example, personal conversations, and by that, our managers can offer individual experience with the clarity of choice. We now completely scrapped the performance management system, and we now put in something that is called heart-to-heart conversations, where we basically train our managers in order to have a positive mindset, and every conversation that they have with their employees, they don't do evaluation, but they actually look at opportunities and they see how they can become coach and mentor for the person in order to be focused on growth. And I would say this changed the mood of organization, who now, like, everybody is struggling with sales, big time. So this is how we work here. And the biggest thing is the purpose. So it is emotional connection and joint growth. And I am responsible for events as well, as I told you. And before COVID in Oriflame, it was all about having fun together. Because as you know, fun is the equalizer. But now, it's all about altruism as well. It's about helping each other. It's about being there. And actually quite a lot of, initiatives that we did before that were quite, they were quite anonymous, like charity initiatives. We are now doing together for the purposes that people associate themselves with. And this is a big game changer, really. So this creates really like a joint movement in Oriflame. And we call it heart to heart. We also now, when we work with managers, we encourage them to be human leaders, which means that we support them in their authenticity. We support them in seeing people as they are, being empathetic, and we also support individual solutions. And then for this, we also have different tools and different, support system from the employee experience part, but I would like to tell you that this is very, very new for us as well. So we started focusing on it this year. It's a big, journey for us. But for example, my group management went through 12 sessions with a psychologist each in order to understand themselves, understand their fears in the modern changing world, to sort of to anchor where they are, and then lead the organization from the point when they're certain in themselves. And this is just like a little example to show to you, how you become an authentic leader before you go and become empathetic and see a person who is in front of you. You need to start with yourself. And then basically back to that. Why it is so important for us to work with this model? Because every experience has different stages. And it's not that you come from one stage to another. They all coexist, but they create memories, they create emotions, and they create the relationships with a different force. So it can be just a good experience. We all need to have a salary. We all need to know what's going on in the company. And it's a good experience, right? We all need to understand that I can grow in the company, that my manager cares, and my manager doesn't want to kill me, with the horrible feedback, but my manager is there to help me, and I can actually learn from this fantastic person who is there for the reason. So then it becomes a meaningful experience, yeah? And then the biggest thing is a transformational experience. And this is Mino, and this is Nana, and this is Katrin, and Thomas, and Carol that I spoke to you about. It's when you do something together because you have a real relationship. It is not a formal template. It is when you see individuals, and when you help them, or you connect to them on a completely different level, and then sort of all the formalities go away and you grow together. And then basically this approach, it creates a lifestyle. It creates a lifestyle of memories that people, lifestyle of moments that people create together for each other. So basically, this is how we feel that we achieve happiness at Oriflame. And then as you say, what does employee experience do? So we make work better, right? Or what did you say? And we do work, what was it? Matter. Well, I believe that we make life better and life matter, because where is work and where is life, right? So, so that's why the whole thing in Oriflame, it's about creating moments together, and it's about never ever giving up, as all the companies are now there. But I believe that we have a fantastic foundation for this, and I would like to show to you that I know that it works, because we actually measure it with the Employee Experience Index. And pre-COVID, we were a pre-experiential company. And if you look in the scale, it's a Jacob Morgan scale. Pre-experiential is pretty good. The last one on the scale is experiential. But then during COVID, we became experiential. We were totally remote, hybrid, locked at home, but we did it together. We went through crisis exactly with examples I showed to you, and we became experiential. Now we have such high standards that we are actually pre-experiential again. But if you look at my percentages, look, culture grows. you know, the physical space, which can be at home, it can be in the office, grows. And the only thing that I need to deliver, because to score experiential, you need to be over 80%, it's to make the systems better, you know, the processing of invoices, like, you know, the automatic things. And it is still better than it was before. So basically, you know, what I say is that, how would I say, if you focus on relationship building, if you focus on not on the modeling, but why are you doing certain thing, if you're focusing on really helping people, you know, to, again, back to human organization, be their best and help them through the worst, your metrics will grow because they will have real life experiences at work. And then now I have a little video I wanted to show to you.
Sometimes like a silent call, like a distant melody, you can feel something's going on, and you know it's all you need. When you let yourself believe, I'm telling you that there's a way. Where there was nothing, now there's a we. When we're talking one to one, I'll say I found something I believe in. So true, and we're talking heart to heart. And I wanna share this feeling with the world. We're speaking from heart to heart. Oh, 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 oh. We're talking heart to heart. Oh, 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 oh. We're talking heart to heart.